So, in this Coolgrad video, we're going to do a comparison between MS in Computer Science, MBA, and MIS. That is, Masters in Science or in Computer Science discipline versus a Master in Business Administration, MBA, versus Master of Information Systems, MIS. We're going to talk about what courses are covered in each of these programs and the differences between these three programs. A lot of young engineering students really don't know the difference between these programs, and they usually pick an MS or an MBA or an MIS, maybe because their friends are doing it, or their senior said it's good, or maybe because their uncle is a professor in that university, or maybe because their boyfriend or girlfriend is doing that course. They really don't know the difference between these programs. And I think it's important for people to know the difference between these three programs and the career paths you can pursue after each of these programs, in order to help you decide, as to which program to pursue. Should you even do an MS in the first place, or should you do an MBA, or should you do an MIS? You can make a better informed decision after watching this video. So basically, an MS is a very technical course, and it focuses on technical and functional design, and mostly on programming, computer design and architecture, and related research and applications. So if you do an MS, you'll be studying a lot of technical stuff and you learn very little management stuff. So, and what you study technically is more like research oriented, sometimes based on algorithms and theory, and in a particular discipline like artificial intelligence or mobile networks or something like that. But it may not necessarily be at the level of managing an enterprise level software project. MBA is for managers and CEOs and people who want to run their own company and manage their own projects, and MBA is for such people. So in an MBA, you learn how to manage people, resources, the scope of work, the quality assurance, the projects, systems, the timeline, stakeholder satisfaction, budgets. You learn all these dimensions of project management, and also learn about how to incorporate a company and manage a company and everything related to a company, like the finances, the accounting, the statistics, marketing, sales, branding. You learn every aspect of running a company, including how to get venture capital. There are different aspects to managing an organization or a project, and you learn all this in an MBA. MIS teaches you technical, functional, and management skills required to manage enterprise information systems. So MIS teaches you something that's a little bit of an MBA and also a little bit of MS technical. So you learn management and technical stuff in an MIS program. So you learn finance, statistics, accounting, and how to manage enterprise level projects. And you also learn about different types of enterprise software, like business intelligence, and how to prepare Gantt charts using MS Project. And you also learn about enterprise data management and business process management, and use of a lot of different CRM tools and things like data warehousing and things like that. So you also learn some management skills like business communications, how to make a good presentation, and a little bit about marketing, and a lot of different things. And you also learn a little bit of technical stuff like programming and architecture based stuff. But you don't necessarily learn the theoretical computer science stuff, like you don't learn, for example, computation theory, or how to design an algorithm, or or how to design a compiler or an operating system, or like distributed systems. You don't learn that kind of stuff in an MIS program. So if you do an MS, after that your career will be more like on the technical side. Like you could become a developer, a programmer, or you could become a database administrator, or a technical architect, after some years of experience, or a business systems analyst, or after gaining some more practical experience, you could even become a project manager, or scale up the management ladder. But if a company had to pick between two candidates for a managerial post, and one of them had an MBA and the other one did, they would most probably pick the one with an MBA. So if you did an MBA, you can watch my videos on MBA in different subjects, like there's MBA in marketing, MBA in entrepreneurship, MBA in HR, MBA in finance. There are so many different specializations, or you can also do a generic MBA. So if you do an MBA in marketing, for example, you can become a product manager or a chief marketing officer or a sales manager, business development manager, or even a business analyst, or sometimes even like a functional solution specialist or subject matter expert, something like that. But if you choose the finance line, you might become like a risk analyst or an investment banker, or you might become like the chief financial officer of a company, or VP finance, or you might be working in accounting, something like that. And if you study statistics, there's a lot of things you can do in the statistics domain, like research and statistics, and working for large corporate organizations, doing analysis of their sales and marketing stuff, and a lot of interesting applications of statistics. And if you study entrepreneurship, you'll be learning about venture capital, and you'll be learning about how to incorporate companies. And then there are so many interesting courses like mergers and acquisitions. You can become a specialist in any of these. After you do your MBA, you can progress your career path in that direction. If you do an MIS, you'll be very well suited to become a project manager in a company, or a program manager, or you'll be able to set up all the systems in a project, and also you'll be equipped with the technical and functional knowledge. So you will know what business intelligence is all about. For example, if you become a project manager to implement a large business intelligence project, if you're done your MIS and you took a course on business intelligence, you would know what it's all about. You would have actually done some hands-on work in it. So you'll be better equipped to lead the team and manage the project. So you would know a little bit of management, a little bit of technology, and a little bit of about the software to guide the team. So suppose you have an MBA and you know all about management in general, and suppose you've done your MS and you know all about the technology. But if you are put in charge as a project manager to lead a Salesforce CRM project or an SAP project, unless you have domain knowledge and functional knowledge about the software, you might find it very difficult to lead the team. Or you'll have to rely on a functional project manager who will have to give you all the expertise related to the software. So sometimes a project manager might become a puppet in the hands of his functional lead. So if you do an MIS, if your ambition is to become like a project manager or a program manager in an enterprise setting, MIS might be more suited for you. Because in an MIS, you learn about management skills, how to deal with people, manage teams, how to manage budget, quality, and all this stuff. In addition, you would have also learned a little bit about a lot of different technologies. Not every technology out there, but for example, you might know a lot more about CRM, or you might know about data warehousing, or about how to set up a data center. You might be better equipped to lead a project because you know a little bit of technology, a little bit of management, all the basics that there is to know, and you also know about this particular software. So it depends on what your interest is. If you want to go into the research path, like if your ambition is to join Microsoft and help in developing new operating systems, then you might want to do an MS in computer science and specialize in it. And if your ambition is to work in artificial intelligence and develop new protocols and neural networks or something like that, then you might want to do an MS in computer science. But if you want to be a generic manager, where you're dealing with people or with venture capital or with generic management, then MBA is for you. In MBA, you don't necessarily learn any particular software, but you can always take a course somewhere and learn. It's no such a big deal. But MIS is one of the best suited courses for people who are sure they want to become like managers and like higher up in an enterprise setting. Let's study a little more detail about what exactly is covered in each of these programs. Now these are all the various skill sets, and the first column is MS in computer science, second column is MBA, and the third column is MIS. So what is in green means it's covered in this program, red means it's not covered, and orange means it's covered in some detail. So let's take a look at these different skills that I've identified. Core computer science theory, algorithms, and applications. So if you want to learn computational theory like Turing machines and time and space complexity and about how to design great algorithms and protocols, then you have to study your MS in computer science. In MBA and MIS, you usually don't study this stuff. Programming skills in C, C++, Java, etc. So if you want to become a really expert programmer, if your goal is to improve your programming skills, then MS in computer science is probably the best for you, whether it's related to force.com or .NET or whichever kind of programming. So in MBA, you don't really study much of programming. And in MIS, there are a few courses which leverage your knowledge of like Java programming or .NET programming or something like that. But in MIS, we don't really emphasize too much on programming. And in MBA, we don't really emphasize too much on technology or programming. But in an MS, we do MS in computer science, you would do a lot of programming. So if programming is what you want to learn, then MS in computer science is for you. Core computer science subjects such as operating systems, distributed computing, computer networking, artificial intelligence, etc. And even compiler design, operating systems, computer graphics, all these things, they are taught only in MS in computer science. So they don't teach you these things in an MBA or in an MIS program. So if you want to learn all about distributed systems or parallel programming or compiler design, then you probably want to do MS in computer science. Technical functional system design. So this is like a large-scale system design about its architecture, the functional dependencies, and how to integrate various systems, how to design protocols across these systems. So if you want to learn something like that, they do teach quite a bit of that in MS in computer science, if you take those particular electives especially. And you have to study computer architecture anyway, it's one of the core courses in an MS in computer science. But in an MBA, you don't really study much about technical, system design. So in an MIS, you do study a little bit about technical functional system design. It's management of information systems. So you learn a little bit of networking, a little bit of, maybe distributed computing, a little bit of like enterprise data management, a little bit of using all the software and designing systems that interact with each other in a complex setting. So you do learn quite a bit of that in an MIS program. But if you want to learn technical functional system design to probably become like a solution specialist or a technical architect or a business systems analyst, then probably MS in computer science or MIS are good for you. But in an MBA, you don't really learn much about that. Software solutioning and architecture. So we do learn a lot about system architecture at the database level and at the underlying system level. So that's taught a lot in MS in computer science and also in MIS. But in MBA, we don't really learn a lot about underlying architecture and at the database level. There might be an elective about enterprise data management or ERP or database management systems, but in an MBA, but then it's not really emphasized and it's not a prerequisite. So if you want to learn a lot about architecture, then you should probably take MS in computer science or MIS. Database management. So if you want to focus on database management, like enterprise data management, EDM, SQL or DBMS, then you should probably do MS in computer science or an MIS. In an MBA, you learn a little bit about database management and enterprise level ERP, So, but even if you don't know SQL, how to write SQL queries or about how databases really work and about like, what is a primary key, what is an inner join, outer join, without knowing all these details about database management, you can still get an MBA. So if you want to learn all about database management and architecture and writing SQL queries and, to be a database administrator or technical architect, your best bet would be to study MS in computer science or MIS. MBA, you learn a little bit of that maybe. Enterprise software and tools, such as how to use MS Project. So MS Project is a software that project managers use to make Gantt charts, and so many software like that for project management. So if you want to learn MS Project, BPM, that's Business Process Management, that is a kind of software which provides enterprise agility. And business intelligence, it's like preparing all these dashboards for the executive management and stuff. Or if you want to learn about web design, all these software tools like CRM, customer relationship management, these tools, the software, they teach you actually how to use the software, like data warehousing, data mining, all these technologies, they are taught in MIS. If you want to learn all this, your best bet is to study MIS. MBA, you can take an elective to learn MS Project. Like in my MBA, I took a course on project management and I learned how to use MS Project. And you could take a course in business intelligence. But these are primarily MIS courses. So if you want to learn this kind of enterprise level software, your best bet would be to do an MIS. And in MS and computer science, you may not really study much about enterprise level software. So communication skills. If you want to be an expert in making presentations and how to talk and how to lead meetings and manage projects and people, and if that is your ambition, then your best bet is to do an MBA or an MIS. In MIS, you have a few courses on business communication. So MIS is okay, but MBA, the emphasis is on teamwork and presentations and leading meetings and stuff. So to improve your communication skills, MBA and MIS are better suited. So in an MS program, they may not care much. They may care very little for your presentation skills. I mean, they may have very few points for that. So I've seen a lot of researchers and MS in computer science, students who write very good research papers, whose programming is good, and whose protocols are good, their projects are done, and their exams are well written. They usually get 4.0 GPA and graduate, even if their presentation skills are really bad and they are very nervous to get up in front of the class or something. But in an MBA, if your presentation skills are not good, you can't get a good GPA. So there's a lot of emphasis on presentation in an MBA and also to a great degree in MIS. Presentation skills. So this is about how to use PowerPoint and how to capture the attention of the audience, what to say in which environment and in which meeting, that kind of stuff. So in MS, they may not teach you much about presentation skills. But MBA, it's paramount and it's very important, and MIS also, it's quite important. Marketing, innovation, sales of products. So in an MS in computer science, you don't probably study much about marketing or sales or business development or product innovation and branding and that product management kind of stuff. If you want to learn these things, then you should probably do an MBA. MIS, you probably study 1 or 2 courses about these things. So MBA is best suited for this marketing, sales, and innovation. How to manage people, teams, and companies. So for that, MBA is the best suited, and MIS will also help you a lot because you will know how to manage people and companies and also a little bit about systems. So if you do an MS, then you probably won't really know much about how to manage people and companies. Accounting, finance, and statistics. So if you want to learn these things, then you should probably do an MBA or an MIS because these are some of the core courses in these programs. You have a core course in finance. Actually, there were 2 courses in finance that we had to do in an MBA in the first year. And even MIS students had to study a bit of finance and accounting and statistics. These are like mandatory courses. So you don't really learn that in MS and computer science. Entrepreneurship and startup launch. If you want to learn all about venture capital and how to launch a company and the timing of launch and entrepreneurship, then you should probably do an MBA in entrepreneurship. And MIS will have some courses related to entrepreneurship and venture capital and related stuff, finance stuff. But it depends on whether you take the elective or not, I guess. But in an MS and computer science, you really may not study much about venture capital or entrepreneurship. Those are not like part of the curriculum, is what I'm trying to tell you. How to lead and manage technical teams and projects. So if you're made in charge of a technical team, so MS in computer science, You may know all the technology to be able to architect or solution a system or program it, but if you don't know how to manage the budget or the quality, how to lead a team, how to make a presentation, you may not be best equipped to lead such a project. MBA, you might be well equipped to lead the project and manage the team and the budget and the quality and stuff, but you may not know much about the technical details about the system. But if you want to be an enterprise project manager, then MIS is best suited for you, because then you'll know a little bit about managing people and the team, and also about budget and the quality and the resources, and you also have knowledge about the technical functional systems. So this is a comparison between MS, MBA and MIS. And after watching my videos about each of these, I have individual videos about MS in computer science, MBA in marketing, MBA in finance, MBA in entrepreneurship, and MIS. So after you watch those videos, you can probably make a better informed decision about whether you really want to pursue an MBA or an MIS or an MS or something else. So I hope this gives you enough information to make a better informed decision. Thank you.